So good morning, everyone. I am Nino Andrew Balmores Dayleg, your presenter for today, and I'll be discussing to you the analysis of the novel The Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald using the Marxist analysis. So without further ado, let's get started. But before we proceed to the analysis or the discussion about the analysis of the novel The Great Gatsby, let me introduce first the author of this novel. So Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald was born on September 24 in 1896 and died on December 21, 1940, and he was an American novelist. As he is a short story and screenwriter, he was best known for his novels depicting the flamboyance and excess of the Jazz Age, a term he popularized. During his lifetime, he published four novels, four collections of short stories, and 164 short story, and one of its um, famous novel is the Great Gatsby. So although he achieved temporary popular success and fortune in 1920s, Fitzgerald received critical acclaim only after his death and is now widely regarded as one of the greatest American writers on the 20th century. So F. Scott Fitzgerald novel, The Great Gatsby, was published in the year 1925. So the novel covers first person narrator, which is Nick Carraway, Carraway's connection with the unknown millionaire Jay Gatsby, and Gatsby's desire to reconnect with his former sweetheart Daisy Buchanan. So the central conflict on of this novel is when Jay Gatsby's attempt to rekindle his relationship with Daisy and win her heart. So the protagonist of the novel is Gatsby, of course, and the opponent is Tom Buchanan, who is married to Daisy and is shown as an arrogant, aggressive man. So a Marxist reading of this novel, Gatsby, could be interested in the character's depiction of social class, as well as the manner in which power and riches are acquired and maintained. So, when seen as a whole, the novel appears to portray primarily the very wealthy members of the society and spend much of their time in leisure. So there are a few less wealthy minor characters in the story, and as well as lesser number of servants and employees seen at work. So the next one, let me introduce to you the characters of the Great Gatsby. The first one, we have some of the characters of the Great Gatsby. The first one, we have Daisy Buchanan and Tom Buchanan. So a married couple, they are a married couple and belong to a wealthy family. So Tom is said to be extraordinary rich. He was a footballer, but having retired from this at a very young age, is now restless and diverts himself with acquiring commodities and reading racist texts and his many affairs. And the next character is Nick Carraway. So sorry for the typographical error. So Nick is one of the less wealthy characters and works in the stock exchange. So but is still financially secure as his family is economically stable enough to support him and his work. So Nick's occupation as bond man is never described in detail. It involves trading in debt, which was a growing aspect. of the economy, enabling the boom in consumer spending, which supported the growth in manufacture. This was a new type of stock trading, and Nick has to learn about it himself. And the last character oh, we have Jay Gatsby, or the protagonist of this novel. So Gatsby is introduced at the height of his power and success, and is associated purely with pleasure and extravagantly expensive pursuits such as throwing parties, driving luxury cars, and going out in a hydroplane. So, however, we see hints of Gatsby work in the secretive phone calls and references to gangster activity, and it becomes clear that his wealth is based on criminality. Okay, and that's are the characters of the Great Gatsby. So we have Miss Daisy Buchanan and Tom Buchanan, a married couple, and we have Nick Carraway and Jay Gatsby as the um, main character of the novel, The Great Gatsby. And now let us move on to the analysis of The Great Gatsby. So, according to the article of the website, 123helpme.com in 2000 and published in 2020, um, Scott Fitzgerald's novel, The Great Gatsby, is one of the America's most well-known works. The novel's success is owed not only to its rich material, but also to its exceptional depiction of what life was like in the 1920s. So the major goal to this one is to examine the Great Gatsby via a Marxist lens in order to understand how the novel relates to power, society, and ideology in 1920s. So in Marxist criticism, it focuses on a work of literature's ideological content, including its explicit and implicit beliefs and ideas concerning culture. The first one, we have the culture, the race, the class, and the power. So Marxist critics view the literature as a reflection of the author's own class, or as an analysis of the class relation. So this book is largely telling a story of establishing the plot based on the financial situation in the book, rather than the events of the novel or the events of the 1920s. So if you read it via Marxist lens, you will see that a lot of the events revolve around the hunting themes of money, wealth, and power. So because in the Great Gatsby, they have this belief that money is equal to the power. So the kind of wealth and amount of money were essential. So meaning the kind of wealth and amount of money were essential enough in the novel The Great Gatsby to define how strong someone was. So which is why the Marxist perspective included the division of social classes. So the income disparity not only affects living condition, but it also makes the poor less powerful and the wealthy more powerful. So resulting in a gap. So Gatsby, in the novel, Gatsby feels that getting money is the only way he can be successful in life and valuable to the people. So his wealth, which might be interpreted as a power, so entice the the public to want to be a part of him, and his lavish weekly parties. So when he dies, however, the book emphasized the crucial point that no one cared about him. So instead, everyone cared about his money. So look, so the person want Gatsby only for his money. So he discovered that money cannot buy certain things, just as he assumed the size of his house would give him the power to win Daisy back or to have been able to buy her. So we can understand how poisonous the size of money can be in society through a Marxist lens. So because it provides an appearance of power and the ability to generate social concerns. So in addition, so let's have the next slide. So in addition, so the primary character Jay Gatsby is largely concerned with the American dream. So the narcissistic attitudes of those aiming to the American dream are abundantly obvious in the novel. And the Marxist viewpoint considers the American dream as a restricted belief system. So Fitzgerald clearly establishes the disparity between socioeconomic classes, the several cities, especially East Egg and West Egg, and the conflict between haves and nots. So, so Nick makes a separation between, in the novel, Nick makes a separation between East Egg and West Egg, while Fitzgerald establishes a distinction between old money and new money in this regard. So Fitzgerald refers to members of West Egg as new money and East Egg, whereas residents of the East Egg are referred to the old money. Fitzgerald uses the contrast between these two cities to emphasize the differences between the two most powerful social strata. The use of disparity is intended to demonstrate the perils of capitalism. So, so according to SIV in 2019, class shapes class shapes who we are, what we experience, and how we see ourselves. So Marx claims in the Communist Manifesto. So not only that, but how we perceive others influenced by our consciousness. So Gatsby, in fact, exemplifies his American dream, and the social class system. Because Gatsby had no prospect and no family name. So with that, Daisy rejected him because he grew up poor. So Gatsby set out to make his money, changing the way he talks, walks, and acts in general. So despite his best attempts, though plushes on his previous existence emerge, his social origins are still visible. So as I have flashed in the screen, um, as stated in the Communist Manifesto, that a person born into poverty will most often be recognized as the same lower class person, no matter how rich and accomplished she may become. So no matter how rich we are, and no matter how famous we are, if you are belong to a poor family before, you even you are rich, you will be recognized as the same lower class person. So And that's all for my report. But let me summarize. As a conclusion, money plays in the novel, money plays an important role in this story. So Nick's description of Daisy as beautiful, thrilling, and wonderful show near the end of the book that her voice is full of money and that this is the underlying source of her allure. So money has become the most important component in our existence, as depicted in the Great Gatsby story. So the Great Gatsby is a mirror of class struggle, indicating that social circumstances in which the individuals find themselves define them, and that these circumstances consist of key materials concept in capitalistic society. So that's all for my report for today about the analysis of the Great Gatsby using the Marxist approach. And I will leave to Miss Elijah to further elaborate um, or to supplement another discussion for this analysis. And thank you everyone for listening and have a great day and God bless us all.